What's up, you guys? ShartimusPrime here, doing another Saturday live stream. And today I have a very special guest, longtime action figure reviewer. We have Anthony's Customs. How you doing,
Hi.
Anthony?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Oh, thanks so much for making it. Really appreciate it, man. I am stoked to do this. This has been a long time coming, and I just think it's dope that we get to, spend some time, talking about figures and talking about the industry and, talking action figures.
Yeah, I love to do it.
Yeah, man. We've been talking action figures for a very long time.
Yes.
I want to give a disclaimer out there that I don't want people, and I have mods out here in the chat. So anybody being disrespectful and kind of trying to get crazy or spamming or any of that stuff, I'm a trigger happy blocker. Sorry, I can't speak well right now. I'll get into my groove in a minute because it's been a long, crazy day. But yeah, I just want everybody to be respectful of me, be respectful of Anthony, and I just want to have a good time, and I just want to talk about figures and just enjoy the hobby. This is a hobby best to be shared, and I thought it'd be a lot of fun. So let's go for it.
I'm for it. Yeah.
All right. Sorry, I'm all sweaty. I've been running around and everything, but so I want to talk about a little bit how you got into action figure reviewing and I'm sorry, I want to go a little further back. What's the origin of you getting into action figure collecting?
All right. So it started when I was this big. My parents were getting us action figures for Christmas, or birthdays, things like that. The 4-inch, 5-inch Toy Biz figures that KB Toys sold for $2, $4, those things. So I've been collecting those things, since forever. But then as an adult, I stopped for a long time and came back during college, actually, the cool years. And that's when Marvel Legends got real popular. So I noticed that, and I was like, this is way better than what I was doing when I was a kid, so I better get into it. So I started actually customizing in order to pay for those. And then it just kind of snowballed like that. So.
Ah, dope. Very clever. Nice. Well, I was born in 81. I think we're just a year or two apart from each other, right?
87.
Oh, 87. Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, because you're talking about the timeline, how I remember it. But I was in college for a long time. So that's probably what it was. I went the what was his name? The Chris Farley route. Was it Tommy Boy?
Yeah. Well, I did catch the tail end of Legends at the time. When I started, the Target Red Hulk Bath Wave was out. So I was not early in the Legends game. It was later on.
Oh, okay. I see. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, I'm thinking it was the same wave that. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice. So you started customizing it. What were you customizing mostly right at the beginning? Marvel Legends?
No. The first thing was either one of the big McFarlane Halo figures or it was the NECA Ryu. I turned him into Evil Ryu or Dark Ryu. I think that's what it was. One of those, just basic repaint.
Oh, okay. And then what made you pick up the brush in the first place? What made you say, "Hey, I could just do this"? I
think what happened was, because I was really big into Halo, and the McFarlane Halo line was out at the same time, so I was kind of dabbling into that, started to, and then I was on the Spawn boards. Were you ever on the Spawn message boards talking about the toys there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I was on there, and people who were posting customs, and I was like, I could probably do that. Let me give it a shot, and it just kind of went from there, just trying stuff out.
Nice. Okay, cool, man. It says, more in store. Thank you so much for the $5. Anthony, I'll hit you up with the final number from Super Chats and we'll cut it down the middle. Ask Anthony if he wants me to mail him his mini-me, like the one I made for you, but without the soft goods. Oh, yes. More in store. This is the, let me show you this is the mini-me that More in Store made for me right over here. With the Ramones shirt and everything.
I see the likeness, yeah.
You see it? Yeah. Except I don't have the mohawk anymore right now, but hey, it may come back. You never know. But yeah, I love this thing. Thank you so much, More in Store.
Yeah, that's awesome.
This is dope. So yeah. I did my first I customized a little bit starting with Transformers, and I was like,
Mm.
I was kind of like the opposite with you. I saw other people customizing, and I was like, oh my God, they're so good. Like it put this much work for me to get just this far, but like these guys like doing so much crazy stuff. But I mean, it's time consuming, and you got to look at all the, there's sometimes you have to like repaint over stuff that you worked on, or kind of like, like
every time. Yes.
Redo this and that and everything. So yeah, it can be really tricky. But yeah, so you got into collecting. So when you got back into collecting, it was really with Marvel Legends. Is that what really got you back into it?
Marvel Legends and the Halo figures, but primarily the Marvel Legends. Yeah.
Dope. Was there a particular figure in mind that made you go like, oh, I need that?
The first one, not so much that I needed it, but I saw it at a collector shop just because I was just looking through things to see what was out there, because I hadn't been following anything at all. But it was I think it was Red Hulk Wave. It was the Cyclops with the yellow pinstripe on the navy blue.
Yeah.
Was that Brood Wave maybe?
Yes.
I can't remember now.
Yeah,
might have been Brood Wave. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was that one. That was the first one I got to get back into it. And then Nightcrawler, which was an excellent figure. So that sucked me in.
Ah, nice. The Nightcrawler for the wait, which Nightcrawler?
The one with the bigger jaw, not the newer one. The it would have been Toy Biz, I guess. Toy Biz Nightcrawler.
The Ultimate X-Men one, or
no? It was just a classic Jim Lee look, whatever that one would have been called. Okay. Was it Sentinel Wave? I can't remember.
Just a regular Toy Biz one.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Right on. Cameron Wright. Thank you so much, Cameron. Showing some love, respect you all so much. Anthony, not gonna lie, didn't know how I felt at first about you, but I came to love your honesty.
Yeah, all right, cool. Much appreciated.
Excellent. Yeah, that's a very another reason why I wanted to do this was because I really feel like our different perspectives and not just between you and me, but like as a community in general, I think all of our different points of view on things like really have an accumulative positive effect on the action figure line.
Definitely. Yeah. And the internet's set up to everybody's always at everybody's throats, and everybody wants that drama and that BS, and it's like there's no need for that. We don't gain anything from it. So I mean, we can, like, when two people disagree on a figure. I was actually just watching one of your reviews. Let's get into the meat of it right now. I was watching a review on this figure I have hidden all the way in the back right over here. We have the Omega Sentinel figure, right? Okay, yeah.
There she is. Yeah. So I was watching a review of her yesterday, and I don't agree with all of your opinions from that review, but that doesn't make me feel any certain kind of way about you as a person.
I should hope not.
I don't think anything poor of you or anything negative of you as a person for having a different opinion on this figure.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of things that you mentioned in the video that I do agree with. I think I like the figure more than you do, but like your complaints, I thought you had legit complaints in there and everything. And
yeah, we don't have to all like the same thing. That's okay.
Actually, I think it'd be pretty bad if we all just liked the same exact thing, because then we would just pigeon ourselves in, like, probably that would lead us to, like, I don't know, like,
it'd be boring.
We would regress. Yeah, it would be boring, and we would regress. And I don't think I think when we have our opinions, I think it kind of like shows like what could be done, what could happen, how things could be better. And that's one thing I think that's the kind of vibe I get from your videos a lot.
Yes.
It's like, how could it be better? You know what I mean?
That's one of my biggest focal points for anything I'm reviewing is what would make this better? What could they do to give us a better thing next time? I don't want them being the companies that make this stuff to ever feel complacent. I always want them to be trying to earn our money. That's my biggest thing. Right.
Yeah. And yeah, fair enough. Especially as technology gets better over the years, things are better and everything. But yeah, at the same time, it's like I feel like over the years, as I've been just doing this and talking to people that work at these companies, I've been learning a whole lot more about the action figure industry, and some things that may seem really easy on our end as a consumer are actually not as easy on their end as the manufacturers go. Happy Father's Day weekend, my dude. Awesome. Adam, thank you so much, man. Really, really appreciate it. Got my first gig playing drums again, and that's on Father's Day. That's tomorrow.
Nice.
I'm ecstatic. I'm just so happy to play music again. It's like, and a paying gig on top of it. So it's
that's
like,
good. Yeah.
So my wife's like, so you're working on Father's Day? Like, I'm like, yeah, but it's a passion thing. So it's not
right.
Really. Laser Pants, thank you so much. One of the biggest problems with the collecting community is the fact that people get butthurt when you don't like a toy they like. Bro, it's just toys. Yes, I agree with that. It's not. I meant to put Laser Pants as a mod last time, and it's not letting me do it right now. It's just kind of weird. I don't know why it's doing that. But anyway, that's kind of odd. But yeah, he makes a very good point over here. It's just toys, and it none of it's really that serious. But but like one thing I was trying to get at is that, you know, it's definitely good to always push the manufacturers. Like this is an art form. I think you see it the same way as an art form as well, especially with you like working on your own toys and everything right now too, which is fucking awesome. Excuse the language. F-bombs for excitement, but I think that's fucking awesome, man. That's dope as hell. Especially, I
appreciate that.
Yeah, especially because it's like over the years, you know, you have your customs, and then you posted sculpting videos and stuff. So it's just like all kind of like been escalating into this thing over the years, where it's like it's just cool to see. I couldn't be happier to see that, for real. Ghost Cav. Yeah, for sure, man. And $5. Two of the best looking action figure collectors in YouTube Live now. What a good day. Thank you both for saving me so much money all these years. You're welcome. Or making you spend money, either way, one or the other. And man. So one thing I just wanted to address, and it's like I get a bad rep for defending some of these things that I learn about over the years, because it makes me sound like I'm trying to defend them and trying to get people to spend more money, when it's just like, when facts are presented to me, I like to repeat them. Like, facts are facts.
Sure, you know? Sure, yeah.
And before I get to my point, I'm really I'm really hard on myself about catching the super chats, because I just don't want to miss them. Agree with Anthony here. For the amount of money we pay for figures, the companies should have a responsibility to make it worth it. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's like that with anything. You know what I mean? Like, anything you spend your money on, the person making the thing should do their best. Actually, even where you don't spend your money on, you know what I mean? Because most of you guys aren't on our Patreon accounts or any of that. Like, we always try to do better and do a good job. You know, whenever you're giving some kind of service of information or whatever, you want to do a good job, man. Hey, Anthony, did you manage to pre-order the SH Figure Arts Super Saiyan 4 Goku? Can't wait for more Transformers Kingdom Beast Wars from you.
Probably. I don't know. I lose track. You guys see in the unboxings, I always have doubles of things because I don't remember what I ordered. So I ordered it again. So probably, and we'll see. It depends when it shows up. That's when we'll find out if I pre-ordered it or not.
Okay. Have you done it before, where you thought you pre-ordered something and you're like, wait, I never wait. Oh, no. Oh, I never pre-ordered that.
I've never done it that way. Luckily, I've only ended up with extra because I forgot that I did it and ordered another one. So it's been good in that respect, at least. So we'll see what happens with this one. I
had that happen to me like a few months ago, where it was like a couple of times I had accidentally ordered, or not even that long ago. I actually had it happen during the live stream one time, where I had ordered something on Amazon and somebody had found the figures for me out in the wild. So I unboxed like the same thing, like one right after the other. I was like, damn it, why would I do that? I mean, it's annoying. It's not like I can't sell the extra set, or actually I got to ship them out. They're part of I made them a prize, but it's still kind of like, for the most part, it's like, okay, well, now I have to sell this other one. But I was able to lock in my Super Saiyan 4 Goku, though. I did for that one, even though I haven't seen the episodes, or I haven't seen that version of Goku before, so I don't know where exactly in Dragon Ball time stream that lands. Is that the Majin Buu era?
No, well, it's a little after that, but the design is way better than the story that it goes with. So, yeah. I mean, it's from my perspective. I don't want to cause any hate now, but
no, but there's a definitive weak sauce time period that I missed.
Part of that. Yeah.
I think the Mahjong. My brother's the one who kind of got me into Dragon Ball, and he told me, like, you don't have to watch any of that. Like, don't even bother. Like, he just kind of warned me to watch any of it. You don't. It's bad. Yeah. Like, not even the guy who worked on Dragon Ball making it. Like,
right. Yeah. Wait till Super comes back around and they start to like re-go over that stuff like they're doing with Broly and that kind of thing. Wait for them to come back to that, and then you'll probably be good. Okay, cool. If they do it.
Yeah, which I would love if they do, because I love Super. Like, Super, oh my God. Just so happy. Like, it actually genuinely like made me feel like a lot of joy watching that show. It's so fun. And the whole thing too. My brother was telling me, like, oh, you don't have to watch all of it. Just watch like the end of it. That's where all the cool stuff happens. I'm like, no, I'm watching all of it.
Watch all of it, yeah.
Yeah, I was stuck on it. Now he feels bad. Now he has to go back to the beginning and watch all this stuff. I was like, dude, you missed out, dude. There's a lot of stuff there.
There is. Yeah.
We got to talk about Anthony's rival clans figures. I am down to talk about as much of that as Anthony wants to.
It's all very hush. No, it's not hush. I streamed the whole thing. Pretty much all of it's been made public. There's nothing secretive about it at all.
Okay, so you're like, everything that you've been doing is
like, I mean, I haven't shown, like, I've been tinkering now for a while where I haven't shown any of it because it would just be such a bore to watch. But otherwise, like, all the main stuff, it was live at some point. It's not all still watchable, but it was live. But yeah, I mean, I have some prototypes now that I've made myself. I 3D printed them, then molded and casted the parts so I could make functional prototypes just to test things out. Nice. And these are just 3 examples.
Right. I remember seeing those. Yeah.
Whatever they may end up being, that one's actually busted. And so it's just a matter of, I'm still just tweaking things to get them ready for production. And once I do, I'm going to send out the files to a manufacturer somewhere in China, and they're going to make them, and then we're going to have a Kickstarter somewhere in between here and that point. But
nice.
That's about it. It's I guess I would say cyberpunk ninja is the general theme, but it's more like samurai ninja, that whole genre.
Yeah, it definitely has like a little bit more of a futuristic.
Yeah, definitely cyberpunk, retro future type of like 90s future. That's where I'm going with it.
Right. I like that concept. That's very cool. How do you guys feel about the decline in comic books and the ever-growing popularity of mangas among young adults? I don't know, decline in comics? I personally, just since the kid, like when people become parents, they have to let some shit go because it's like a lot. And it's, as people have seen me go crazier and crazier over the last 3 years since my first daughter was born. But anyway, I don't buy comics weekly, but I still read my books and everything all the time. And I don't know if I don't know if it's a huge decline or what, but I thought comics were doing okay, maybe not great. The pandemic didn't help anything. So
right now there's this big thing about how manga is surpassing comics as far as sales go in the US. And I think there's too many factors at play to say what's causing it. I think it's just a general shift because, like you said, the generation that really got comics going, it's a different age group now and different things are prioritized, and manga's bigger now here than it ever was. So it's just kind of catching up and maybe surpassing. I don't think there's anything really to read into it necessarily, but I guess we'll see over time. This isn't that old of an industry, not really. So we'll see how the patterns go, I think.
Yeah. Wow. That's kind of a trip. Yeah. Ooh. I noticed my sister-in-law, who's in high school, I was surprised to see she's really into manga and stuff. I was like, oh, nice. That's really cool. But yeah, I don't. But her brothers, which are in high school, aren't into comics, and I don't know if any of the other teenagers like in my family or anything that are really like into buying comic books weekly. Yeah, my cousin's little brother, or my little cousin, he was into the trading cards for a little bit when he was like 10, but now he's like 16 in high school.
Yeah,
and football, focused on those
other things. Yeah.
Things that we all kind of still like to focus on, you know what I mean? Like, what can you do? What can you do?
Yeah. Well, also paper. People aren't into paper anymore. Everything's digital, so that's going to matter. And manga tend to be thicker chunks, so maybe that has something to do with it. It's more like a substantial thing rather than a weekly thing.
Oh,
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I'm not that into manga, and I don't read comics.
Yeah.
I don't read comics, so I don't know. I mean, I know the industry, but I don't read them, so I can't say anything beyond what I've already said. I don't know.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about the rivals. I kind of want to. So you showed just a second ago just 3 prototypes, right?
Yes.
So I'm kind of curious to see since I have my thing and I don't really want to get into my stuff, but I have a very like a kind of like a staggered idea of what I'm going to do, so I don't want to step on anything. If you have it all just throw down what you have in store for your line. And big thanks to Kevin Villarta, super sticker. Right on.
So the general idea was I wanted to make something that I really wanted as a collector. And my idea was to make it so that other people would want to own it. And I figured the best way to do that would be kind of go the same route that Soda did with the Street Fighter line, in that basically as little profit as possible so that I could maximize the quality and the output of the figures. And that's the plan. So I tried to find a sweet spot in as far as the price point goes, and that's still up in the air a little bit. But I mean, there's been successful Kickstarters for independent lines just like this in the 1/12 scale over the last 5 years. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody knows. I'm not going to mention names because it doesn't really matter, but there's been successful ones, and they're all about the same price point, and it's not like anybody would be surprised by it. So anyway, I picked a price point, and then I'm trying to just maximize what I can put into the figure, make it as fun as possible, aesthetically pleasing. It's an original IP. Everything is coming out of my head or like a friend or whatever, but like there's no licensing going on. So that's a bit of a hurdle, obviously, because nobody cares about it. They don't know about it yet. So you have to make it as interesting as possible too. So I'm just basically pouring everything as a collector that I would want out of a product into the product, and hopefully that'll be good. And it should mesh with like basically any 1/12 scale figure line. It's a mix of like an import and a domestic in terms of articulation and style. But it will work with like Legends, which are probably the biggest line of figures out there right now.
Right.
So needed to work with that. That's pretty much it, I guess.
You mean tweak? Good. So is it 3 figures that are coming out?
Yeah. So I'll explain that. Right now I don't know. I'm thinking the first wave is going to be 6 or 8. I just made 3 to test out the different parts, and a lot of the like internals, like the ball pegs and things, are going to be the same. So I didn't need to make too many different tests. These are just my own tests. So it was just for me to get things situated. But I've made a bunch of like probably 50 different heads, bunches of different arms and torsos and legs and things. And I haven't decided what combinations I want to make characters out of. And then they're not going to be like hot swappable. Like you can't just buy one and pop out parts and make a new figure, but they're going to be swappable in the sense that most figures have swappable parts if you know what you're doing. Like Marvel Legends are pinned, or they used to be pinned, so you could swap out an elbow if you wanted to, things like that. And they're going to be somewhat interchangeable, some reused parts, but I'm trying to get as many unique parts as possible. And there's going to be a bunch of different characters. I just haven't decided which parts are going together to make those characters yet. So these 3 are just an example. So
if I understand right, like you're taking some of the parts from the different characters and kind of mix matching them to create like new characters for some of them?
Yeah, well, to start, yes. And then there's going to be new parts added in to make different characters. Basically, like, so I don't know how you feel about me mentioning other lines and things, so I just won't. But there's one that's
Yeah. It's totally fine with me.
Okay, so like the Mythic Legions, basically, there's a lot of reused parts in that line, and it's highly successful, and people love it. I'm not trying to go that far into the reused parts, but it's the same vein. In like a cyborg, for instance, you don't need 10 different cyborg bodies. You can have different heads, different arms, something like that. And you can have some reusability in the parts to make the the prices reasonable. You know, everything can't have a new sculpt. So it's along those lines, basically.
Gotcha. Okay, that's what I was kind of like, a little bit like how Hasbro does, kind of.
Yeah.
Where you know where those legs came from, but the torso's new.
Exactly.
Different arms, but the torso was reused also, or something.
Right.
That's because it's expensive. Tooling is very
so expensive. Hundreds of thousands of dollars for tooling. So yes, it can get really expensive. You have to reuse parts. There's no way around it unless you're charging a lot of money and selling huge quantity. Like tons.
And that's one thing that I have learned, is that while some companies are reusing molds to make other figures, and people say, oh, easy cash grab, it's like, you don't know if that fool actually even paid off the huge cost for the tooling with that first version of the figure you got. They could still be in debt trying to pay off that tooling with the second.
Definitely. Or they're using that to pay for a new tooling or whatever the case. That's why color variants exist. I mean, that's the cash grab. They need to make money on the tooling, so they have to do color variants. That's all.
Exactly. And so the cash grab in the sense of just paying off debt, which is not what people usually imagine when they see it.
Yeah.
Omega Shenron Dragon, thank you so much. Hey, big fan of Shart and loved Anthony's snarky type reviews. Question is, how do you feel about stylized or artist interpretation figures of characters? You can go first, Anthony.
Sure. I love them as long as they're meant to be that. Like, if it's an artist's interpretation and it's sold as that, then if it looks good to me, I'm all for it. But if it's not supposed to be an interpretation, like Play Arts is known for doing this when they were supposed to be like game accurate figures, and then they made like Batman real hippie, like that's not my thing. But if it's meant to be stylized, then I'm all for it. I love stylized stuff. Right.
Cool. Yeah, I'm the same way, as long as I like that particular artist. So it's like the Hasbro. I like McGinnis is cool. I don't have a problem with McGinnis's artwork, but like that particular style for the Hulk wasn't my favorite. And when they did that Hulk 2-pack Valkyrie, like I was like, oh man, like that wasn't my favorite. But I do have that figure now, thanks. But yeah, that to me, it's always dependent on like, which artist are we talking here?
Okay.
You know, and if it's supposed to be stylized a certain way, like did the curvaceous hips on Batman arouse you a little bit, like how it did me, or no?
No, that was a hard pass on that Batman. My Batman should not have birthing hips.
You like that curvaceous Batman waist?
Not my thing.
Not my thing, man. Yeah, not my thing either. I'm totally joking, but yeah, but it's kind of, but like one thing that you did mention with this, like she does very much have a tubular body, which is very disappointing. Like I really wish like the hips. Marvel's really weird about that though, man. Like, see, that's the other thing. This is one of those, like that call. I would bet that came from Marvel.
Oh, I would bet so too. Yeah, but I still don't like it. So
because Kotable Kia, I reviewed a few Kotable Kia statues recently, and they did a Black Cat, very tubular, and then Bishojo on top of it, and then they did a Poison Ivy, and she was like, wow. So it's like, okay, I think it's Marvel here. Maestro, muchas gracias, dude. Thank you. Pisto and an awesome stream. Love it. Right on, bro. Thank you so much, man. Thanks for jumping in. He's been long time viewer and I think he's been watching both of us like since way back.
Nice.
It's like year 1 days and everything, man.
Long time ago.
Yeah, I know. Isn't it kind of crazy that like we've been doing this shit for so long? Like what got you started into reviewing? Because like I mean, I know the timelines are so close, but like, for the viewers out there.
Well, it was the customs at first, and then since I started making customs, people in the forums I was posting the customs on said, well, you should, if you know this stuff about the figures, if you know how to take them apart, how to put them together, how to sculpt and that kind of thing, why don't you do reviews? And that was at the time when it was real popular with Sean and you and a couple of other people who started before me. You know, it was just taking off. Like, we're talking single-digit thousands of subscribers for the biggest channel. Well, maybe we were in the 20s at that point. Not me, but...
Yeah, I think Sean,
it was early. Yeah, it was early. And they said, well, maybe you could do that too. So I was like, all right. And if you go back on my channel and look at my terrible ass reviews in the very beginning, I couldn't, but it worked out. Like, I ended up figuring my way through it. But the reviews were terrible in the beginning. So bad. So bad. And they're mostly Transformers in the beginning too, which, I mean, I like Transformers, but I'm not a Transformers guy. So it was just weird. It was a weird beginning, but it worked out. It was all right.
It's always a tricky thing getting yourself, like, putting yourself out there and getting started, and it's always kind of, you know, it's like, like, I think in my very first review, the whole Transformer had fallen over and shattered into pieces and stuff. I was like, and there, god damn it. Like, from then on, I knew this was a little bit harder than I initially thought.
Yeah.
Chris Wolverine, thank you so much. He says, my favorite reviewers, Shartimus enthusiasm and Anthony's objectivity are the best combination. Any tips for someone who wants to start reviewing in YouTube? Oh,
that's a tough climate nowadays. Because we both know how terrible it is to do this kind of thing. It's not something you could bank on anymore at all if you're just starting out. And even if you're not, it's rough. It's real rough. So do it for fun, not for money. That's what I would say. Yeah, make sure you have another thing going on, like another, you know, gig or something. That's, you know, kind of. I've always kept. I mean, you've always been working on your customs and stuff. You know, I have my music career that I've never stopped with. So I've always had another thing to go on. So there's no way you could put all your eggs in the basket. But I gotta say, there is the positive side to it is that the YouTube algorithm does make it a little bit easier now for newer channels to get noticed, especially if you're not making any money off of it. So the way it works now is that YouTube, if you just start making YouTube videos, you won't be able to make money off of it until you get a certain number of views and a certain number of subscribers and this and that or whatever. However, YouTube can make money off of your videos. So they could put ads on your content and you're not seeing a penny, but they're making money. Now, with me and Anthony, we make money from videos. So why would YouTube recommend one of our videos before somebody else's video that's not making any money off of it? Yeah, they make a bigger cut on new content for sure. They make a
bigger cut on the new content, so they push a lot of the new stuff. So if you want to make reviews and you want to get noticed, you just want people to see you and you just want to share the hobby and you just want to get yourself out there, it's actually working in your favor to get noticed a little bit easier nowadays, because before it was a little bit more brutal where it was like by view count. So like it was like, you know, so there was like a period of time if you typed in Marvel Legends, it would like either be me, Glenn Webb, or Anthony's Customs at the very top, and that was kind of like it. You know what I mean? But now if you type in Marvel Legends, there's like a whole ton, and then you see Robo from the Foosh or something, a whole ton. And I might find my own video. It's like, wow. So it's a tricky game, and that target always moves. So my recommendation is, if you just want to enjoy the hobby and you just want to talk about it, get yourself a freaking tripod and start shooting videos. But tripod is the number one recommendation I give. Tripod, and don't single hand that camera, bro. Single handing camera is the worst. Tripod, good lighting. Right away you have to invest into things to make it look real. Nowadays though, man, it's easier for these kids getting in. We were dealing with 480p garbage cameras when we started, and now they can take a phone out and shoot like Steven Spielberg. What the heck? Right, and then just upload, upload right there, edit all on the phone, upload, and they're ready to go. Yeah, I had a little digital Sony Handycam that I used for a while, and even though my very first video was on a smartphone, it was on a BlackBerry, but I had to take the SD card out and put it in a computer, like big ass computer.
It was tough back in the day.
Yeah, it was tough. Yeah. And I remember I wanted to save on lighting. I didn't want to buy a bunch of lights, so I would do my reviews on the bed where the window was shining, so I could use natural light and not have to worry about getting a whole review station going.
Yeah.
Eventually gave into all of that, of course. So going back to the rivals and stuff. So you're looking at like 6 to 8 figures. Are you at when you say 6 to 8, I already start thinking build a figure, and I'm curious if you have something like that in mind.
I don't. I have big figures in mind. I have unique things in mind that are not like a standard. Like it's not just a little man. There's going to be other stuff, and it should be bigger and more interesting and unique, but not build a figure. I don't like that model necessarily. I would rather encourage people to buy what they want rather than what they feel like they have to, and hopefully that encourages the sale of the right things, and I know where to go from there with what to make for people, and then hopefully they'll want to buy the big stuff, and if not, then I just don't have to invest in it. So it's less of a compulsive purchase that way, I think. So I think that should work, but I mean, both methods have worked for different companies at different times, so who knows. Yeah, there is stuff. I have a couple big things planned. We'll see.
Nice. And I'm sure it would work out fine. Hasbro's done okay with deluxe figures.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing personally. I think it's a real good thing.
Yeah, me too. Especially with anything that's like a repaint or a re-release kind of thing. It's like, oh, cool. It's just like there. If you missed out on it or you really need it, you can go grab it. You don't have to go through the whole wave and stuff. What would you say are some of the figures that you are most excited about? I kind of know the answer to this, but just like talking about stuff that's coming out and the companies that are out there, like what are you most excited for from other companies, and what kind of things are you looking forward to that you see out there?
That's a good question right now.
Super loaded? Is it too loaded? Can I get more specific? Out of the imports out there, let's just stick with imports. Because I'm
drawing a blank right now as to anything that's really got me excited.
Did you jump into any of the HasLab stuff? Do you do any HasLab?
I got just the Sentinel, and that one was so expensive that I'm not excited for it because I'm scared to death. I'm gonna feel like I wasted my money on it, and that's gonna whatever. We'll see.
If you can huck it if you need to.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like when I bought it, I'm like, I'm gonna be able to sell it if I need to. So if I need to eat that month, it'll go. But I'm scared that that's not gonna be a happy purchase. But we'll see. I hope it is. As far as imports go, is there something I'm not thinking of that I'm excited about? Probably. I can't think of anything right now other than more Masterpiece Transformers, Beast Wars. I'm into that.
Have you been buying the Beast Wars Masterpiece?
Yeah, the Masterpiece, and that the War for Cybertron ones are actually really good too. I love those. But the Masterpiece.
I was watching your Optimus Primal, and I'm really happy with Optimus Primal.
Dude, so for the price, they're killing it. Yeah, they're doing a real good job.
1 second.
Sure.
Good to see you, sweetie. I'll give you. Okay. Hi, Amor.
What am I looking forward to?
Okay. All right.
I can't think of anything. If any of you guys had my number, text me what I'm excited about because I don't remember anything I'm excited for right now. I can't think of anything right now. What's coming out that I'm not thinking of, like figure arts or anything?
Yeah, because now I'm trying to get myself thinking. Lord Emmertron wanted to say hi. Okay.
Hello.
All right. Here, and I gotta grab the other one. I have to be fair. Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, really quick. All right. And then Mila wanted to say hi. Can you say hi?
Oh, hello.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. Yeah, the Super Saiyan 4 Goku. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys. Here we go.
I can't think of anything that's exciting right now, other than more Marvel Legends like X-Men characters. That's about it. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Oh man. I don't know if people have gotten their hands on the Mafex Gambit.
Oh yeah.
That's one that has my attention that I'm looking forward to.
I'm holding off on that just because of my history with Mafex and not necessarily being happy with everything they've made, but I'm hoping that's good because Gambit's one of my favorite X-Men characters. So if that's a good one, then I'll be psyched for it, but I didn't pre-order it yet.
Nice. Yeah, I understand your frustration with that. I've had some bad... dude, they took the piss out of my Carnage. Like,
oh, yeah.
Big thank you, Frecky. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, I'd gotten a Carnage. I bought the Mafex Carnage, and I think like right after getting it, or I had opened it up, and the kneecap was all messed up. It was like little, and the knee looked all heck weird right away. I was like, oh man. And I got a replacement from BBTS and everything. It's just that I'd gotten the figure a little bit later, and the whole thing with the face, I kind of got it more out of curiosity, and then that thing, and then it's like I got my replacement, and then I still have the replacement unopened because I'm like, like any kind of excitement that I had, it just like washed away. So
their QC is just not consistent, not even close to consistent at this point. And it used to be worse, so that's good, but it's still, who knows? Yeah.
It's from one girl dad to another. Happy early Father's Day. Happy early Father's Day to you too, Omega Shenron Dragon. Thank you, man. Thank you. I got my two babies. That stuff upsets me. Now, if you were me, would you have been able to muster up the energy to make the video? I think that's like one difference that a lot of people see in our different styles of reviewing, where if you're kind of feeling a certain type of way towards a figure, you kind of just go with it and just say what you want to say and just dig right in.
I do that. I had one figure that I can think of, only one that actually bothered me enough that I didn't review it. I sold it before I didn't even plan on reviewing it after I opened it. I want to get that super chat before I go on.
Sorry, which Mark 11 MK11 figures do you both want to see be made?
Liu Kang, I guess, and Super Liu Kang would be cool.
I want to see more of the ninjas. I want to see the rest of the ninjas. Okay, so you had to sell your figure.
Yeah, so normally I'll just go in on a figure because I figure that's what it is and that's what I do. So I'll review it the way I review it. But the Revolt, I'm gonna get flame for this, but whatever. The Revoltech Iron Man was such a finicky mess that it was so bothersome to handle. I just couldn't bring myself to bother filming it. It was just so finicky. It was unpleasant to mess around with. It wasn't that bad otherwise, but I didn't enjoy it. Like, I can enjoy reviewing a normal figure if it's just not great because it's a normal figure. It's fine, whatever. This one just bothered me to handle, so I just couldn't do it. Maybe it's OCD or something, I don't know, but I just could not review that one. But otherwise, I just try to go in on it as I see fit, and that's how I do it.
I usually... I find myself like, so my angle is I want to have fun. Like I keep things objective, but I want to have a good time. Like if I see something bad, I'm going to mention it. I try to be respectful with the Hasbro team people because I see them and I want, I like to treat other people the way I like to be treated. So if I think something's bad, I don't like to call it garbage because that's not what I would particularly say if I was standing face to face with them. I would
never say that either. Definitely.
Yeah. So like, I'm not going to go out of my way to like be mean to any of these guys or anything. But, and the Mafex Carnage isn't even, it's like, there's no reason for me to try to like defend Mafex or anything. It's not like that. It's just that with the whole premise of having fun and having a good time and sharing the hobby, it's like if I'm really not enjoying it, if it's really not fun for me, then I don't want to do it.
Yeah,
and it just takes the piss out of any kind of fun that I may have had, and then I don't want to do it. Like I'm not, and people can tell. Like people could tell. Shartimus sounded really bummed out in that one. Like, yeah, it's because I was bummed out.
Right. Yeah. No, I'll take days off. Like if I was going to review and I'm not feeling it, or the figures are actually mostly bad for that batch, then because I usually do like 8 a day or something like that when I'm reviewing.
Oh God.
Yeah, I like to get them like 1 day of reviews a week. So, but lately I haven't been doing any. Anyway, if that day is like I notice there's a lot of bad ones and I'm not feeling it, I'll just set it off for the next day so I can try to be in a better mood and hopefully that doesn't sour the figures even more, but sometimes it just doesn't help.
It may just get worse.
Yeah.
Like, and you again.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty much.
Like, God damn it. That's how I feel about the Carnage. Every time I pick it, I go back to. I haven't taken the good one out of the box. I gotta at least open the good one and see if I could have fun with it. But it's like, for whatever reason, I think it's just a frustration with Mafex. But then they've done some really cool shit, like the have you picked up any Batmans? I'm not sure if you picked up the Dark Knight Returns Batmans, but holy crap, I think these shot up to possibly being my favorite Batman figures ever. Like,
the fat Batmans are really good. They're really nice.
Yeah, I mean, just everything about them. I'm just really, really happy with these. I really can't see much of a problem with them at the moment. Like, I guess more accessories could always be a thing, right?
Always.
Yeah.
Always a thing.
Always more accessories. As far as talking about imports a little bit, going back to US made stuff, like what kind of things are you looking forward to that's, more from over here?
The domestic stuff,
domestic,
anytime Hasbro puts out X-Men stuff, I'm into it. Like that new Colossus, that's going to be fun. Even if there's problems with it, I'm going to like that figure personally. Like X-Men stuff's always where I'm interested for Hasbro.
Nice.
I'm still waiting for this is going to be another sore topic. Another Spider-Man, like a core Spider-Man that takes the one that they just did, the new super duper good one, and fixes those weird problems that it had. And then I think they're just going to be aces. So I'm looking forward to that at some point. It's going to happen. We're going to get a new Spider-Man eventually. So I'm looking forward to that. But otherwise, it's X-Men stuff. And then NECA, I like NECA's Preds. So anytime they're going to redo some Preds, hopefully they do some AVP Preds would be cool. But I'm drawing blanks right now as to what's coming out the rest of this year. I don't know.
Really quick, Colt Kid, Shartin Anthony, your Mount Rushmore of Marvel Legends.
Ooh, that's a good one. You go first on this one. You take this one first.
Oh man, my Mount Rushmore of Marvel Legends. I'm gonna say Omega Sentinel. No, okay. Oh jeez, dude, Fin Fang Foom needs to be on there. I think, even though it's. Yeah, Fin Fang Foom, definitely the Toy Biz Sentinel. See, am I going with just all?
Yeah, you're going Baffs.
I'm going Baffs all the way. The J. Scott Campbell / McFarlane Spider-Man still has a soft spot in my heart. I do like that new retro Spider-Man that you're talking about, but I think you and I, we may agree on everything that we don't like about it, because
probably.
Just to talk about that figure a little bit more, because I like that figure a lot. I do think it's the best Marvel Legends Spider-Man out there to date.
Agreed.
And I'm pretty sure I saw your review of it, but it was from a while ago.
Yeah.
But help remind me. So we both agree it's a cool figure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I would still put the McFarlane one ahead of it, but it's still up there as maybe the top one. No doubt.
For Hasbro. Let's say from...
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely.
From Hasbro.
Yeah.
So, so what are your biggest gripes with that figure?
The neck, definitely. I hate that gap in the neck and that notch in it for no reason. Like, they've done better neck pegs on tons of figures. I don't know how they screwed that one up on Spider-Man. And then I'm remembering it not having the right set of alternate hands and a torso that was more limited than it should have been because they reversed the joints. But it's been a while, so I'm not sure.
Okay, I didn't catch that with the torso. Oh, as opposed to where the diaphragm cut is to where the ab crunch is. Like, the ab crunch should have been up, and then the rotation. I liked the way they had that. That's pretty interesting. It's like basically the opposite to how they do it with the G.I. Joe classified figures, right? Right.
Well, see, the thing is with the Joes, though, I think the Joes, they actually do it right because they also have a waist peg. And if you have the waist peg, then the crunch, then the diaphragm joint, you get all the range. And that's what I wanted on Spider-Man because it's Spider-Man. But
right. Specifically for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Frecky. Once again, neck articulation, disc versus double ball peg. Also ball at the base of the neck. What do you think about that? Do you prefer disc hinge or do you prefer double ball joints?
Double ball every time, if possible, which it is. There's no limitation. If you do it right with a nice big ball at the bottom and a skinny peg and then a medium-sized ball at the very top. You can get all the range you want. I would show you on these, but it's too small. You can get all the range you need out of a neck with a double ball peg every time. But what he said, which I hadn't even thought about, the upside down ball disc combo, that would work way better than what Hasbro does, because you get all of the adjustable posing on the ball and the neck, and then you get the hinge also. That's a good idea, doing the reverse of what Hasbro does. But I'm still double ball every time.
I love the disc hinge. I would disagree with your point, because I honestly think that, I want, especially for Spider-Man, I like to break anatomy. Like I know you get really picky with anatomy, and you have studied your anatomy. So I could understand how it would pain you to see things break anatomy. But in the comics, like Todd McFarlane breaks anatomy all the time. So
yes.
So I feel like if we're going to get into a world of breaking anatomy, I think action figures is a good place to do it. And the reason why I like the disc hinge more, I'm trying to find like a figure here that where I can use as a good example. But like, I feel like if I get this, I could get him looking all the way up, and I can't really do it so well with this Frank Castle figure, but on some of them, they're able to bend the neck, the head, to the point where it's like almost completely like, the bottom of the head is like parallel with the back, you know?
Yeah, there's definitely benefits to it.
Ridiculous. I mean, I guess it could still be anatomically correct to throw your head all the way back. But I feel like if you have those two balls, now that stick in the middle is going to snap at some point, and that is not going to let you get the Spider-Man broken anatomy that I like to see.
It can be done. It just requires a little bit more finesse. But you're right. I mean, for certain things like leaning all the way back, you can probably get better range out of it. But then you also don't get the side to side with that, whereas with this you would. So it's just that part comes down to preference, is what you want to do with it.
And how much. Because Hasbro has that where they loosen up the ball inside the head a little bit. So you get a little bit of head tilting, not like the Red Skull figure that just came out. You know what I mean? Like not like that or anything, or an import figure. It wouldn't be the same, but it would be a little bit more than just, than this Frank Castle that I'm seeing right over here. Mark Tac, thank you so much. Anthony and Shartimus, much love to both your channels from the UK. Thank you, Mark Tac.
Thanks, Mark.
Really appreciate it. We have a couple other super chats here. Mercer first, $5. Thank you. Father's Day, shout out to those fellow fathers that collect figures. Happy Father's Day to you, man. And happy Father's Day, Shart. Thank you. And then looking forward to Anthony's rival figures.
Me too.
Man. Yeah,
thanks.
People. Yeah, I think everyone's pretty excited. They look great, dude. They look awesome.
Thank you.
Sign $2. Thank you so much. Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, or Tom Holland. Ooh, that's a tough one for me. Yeah, man, it's like there's like parts of all of them that I really like. I'm not gonna give you guys a total bullshit answer, but like I feel like I'm honestly tied between Tom Holland and Tobey Maguire at this point. I really loved Far From Home. It wasn't up until Far From Home that Tom Holland's Spidey peaked to the Tobey Maguire level for me. And so for Toby and Tom at the top, but Tom just got here, so we'll see if he stays there or goes, kind of drifts away. What do you say to that?
I'm just less interested in the teenage Spider-Man, so I'm going to go with Toby for that. But I do think Tom Holland, he does what he's doing well. And if I was into that, then it would be him for sure. So I just like the college-age Spider-Man more. That's all.
We will see a Tom Holland in college, right?
Yeah. Eventually, he might be perfect. So
yeah, eventually we may. My ideal Spidey is like college years Spider-Man and everything.
Although, do you think Tom Holland's ever going to look like he's old enough to be in college?
That's scary too, because he's actually there now.
Yeah, he's old now, but he looks like he's 12. So,
which is, hopefully he doesn't look like all odd 30-year-old Tom Holland. He's all,
we'll see.
Like a baby face still. Like, yo, dude, we're hoping you'd grow some pubes by now, but all right. Imagine Capcom. I think he'll grow into it. I hope so. I think he'll grow into it though. Cold Haterade, thanks for the $5. Imagine Capcom's version of Sentinel finally gets a figure. Ooh, that would be it. People would complain about it being too small, I think. Should it be in a Gamerverse wave as a BAF, or should Storm Collectibles make it? If they were to do it, I think they gotta load it up with accessories to make up for the short height. For it to be accurate, it's got to be a really short Sentinel.
Yeah.
And too many Marvel fans are gonna be like, nah, too small, no, too small, right? I have a feeling. Well, I don't know. What do you think, Anthony? What do you think?
I would just go Gamerverse BAF for anything like that, because that's right in Hasbro's wheelhouse. I don't think Storm needs to make it. Though I wasn't thinking about Storm when you asked me about imports earlier. As much as Storm has problems, I still love Storm's figures. There's something about them that are just fun. And basically anything they have coming out, I'm looking forward to. So that was one thing I didn't think of. But I would leave Marvel stuff to Hasbro at this point.
Right on. Yeah, I think it would be a decent BAF because it would be a smaller Sentinel, so it would fit better, but not, but for me personally, I would see it right away and think, okay, if it's loaded up with accessories, I don't know, I could justify it to myself, but at the same time, I don't know.
I think it would have to be in a whole wave of MVC figures. I think they'd have to go like all in on it, and then it would make sense. But otherwise, it's just going to look weird and out of place. Yeah,
exactly. That's a great recommendation. If they do that, they should go all out with a whole bunch of characters and everything.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I would love that.
Yeah. So aside from so I don't know if we got into the stuff that the domestic stuff that you're looking forward to thoroughly enough. I know you've dabbled in some of the McFarlane Toys stuff. Right?
Oh yeah.
I'm curious to know what you think of McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse specifically.
That line feels so. What would be the right word for it? It wants to be articulated, and at the same time, they won't do it. They won't, like, the joints are there, but they're not going to work. Like half of them, like the torsos, for instance, have any of them been able to lean forward yet? I mean, I know there's a couple, but that's just a weird line. I don't know if it's because of its infancy or if it's because Todd's been making toys for ages, but he hates articulation. I like that line. I want it to get to where I want it to be. But for me right now, there's only a handful that are actually fun. Most of them are statues with joints, and I don't enjoy that. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, really good point. I feel like the articulation is not where it needs to be, but with the amount of sculpt and paint that we get on those figures, I'm pretty shocked by.
Well, yeah, they definitely do that right, no doubt. Yeah. There's tons of they're all new sculpts, except for these weird repaints that they're doing in 2-packs and stuff, which whatever.
Yeah, and they do, and then the Bizarro figure. I don't know if you've seen that one, but the Bizarro figure is mostly a repaint, but they did, of course, they had to change the logo and they gave him a brand new head. But I really liked that body mold so much that I was like, nah, I'm fine. I like that one.
Yeah,
but
that's a strange line. It's so in between, and every field, the sculpts are great, but then they don't pose well. And the paints are sometimes great, but sometimes there's no paint at all, or they're missing huge swaths. So it's to me, that's a very weird line. It's very strange.
Yeah, I think it's a really young line too. That's another thing we got to remember. Yeah. Todd's been making toys for a long time, but like you said, he hates articulation. So
really,
he really.
He does.
No, he really does, because I remember shortly after the Fortnite, it was between the Fortnite stuff that they're doing and then the DC Multiverse, the first year that they're talking about them doing DC Multiverse, but didn't have anything to show. So I remember before my interview, I asked him I see you got these articulated figures, that's so cool. So has that. So now that you actually see these figures really articulated, that's kind of warmed you up to articulation now, right? He's like, no. No, I was oh, damn. Thank you to the people that work for McFarlane Toys.
Yeah.
Because the people that work for him had to have pushed and and nagged at him for a long time to make it happen. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, so that's it. So there's like, there might be a little bit of friction there. I'm not sure, but
I would bet. Yeah. Todd seems to get his way most of the time. I mean, he deserves it. He's Todd McFarlane. He's built that company somehow. And I get that. But at the same time, people want articulated figures, and if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it. So that's why I think there's definitely a disconnect between the people in charge and the people designing stuff and the people sculpting stuff. There's some kind of there's definitely tension there, I think.
Right. And I think that's why we have that bit of awkwardness, because it's like not all into that. Like the feet are still small on all of the figures too. You have thigh cuts, and that was a good point you made about the ab crunch not really not really fully serving the having an ab crunch, which has got to be really tricky to work in when you don't want to cut stuff up, and you get that friction right there. Let's read a couple of super chats here. Big thanks, Jake Strong. He sends over $6.99. He says, "Hey guys, I'm just gonna say that I've been watching since I was about 10. You guys got me into collecting and wanted to say thanks, and here's to many more." Hey, thank you for watching, man. Thank you. Yeah, definitely. I really appreciate it, man. And then Cameron Wright, thanks again, man. Did you all see the 6-inch retro Batman McFarlane figs? Yes, I did. Finally in our scale, but very limited articulation. Also, Anthony, what's one fig that made you legit mad?
There's one that comes to mind every time. Also, I did see those Batman figures. Single jointed elbows and knees.
That frustrated me when he was showing it. That took the excitement out of it. I love pow and all that, the speech bubbles. But when I saw the single jointed elbow, I was like, oh,
that's a little weird.
Dance? How are you gonna dance with the single jointed elbow?
It's true. So one figure that made me legit mad was the 3A Master Chief, because it was easily, without a doubt, one of the most objectively terrible releases. Like, they had recalls on it. Like, stores were not taking returns anymore on it because it was so bad, and everybody was sending it back. Like, everything was a mess on it. They glued stuff wrong. They put things in backward. It was just a disaster. So that one. And my review, even though it's old and crappy, it's still on there, and you can see how bad that figure actually was. So that one, definitely.
Wow.
And it was expensive. It was like $300 or something like that. So not good.
Oh, geez. Oh, wow. I didn't know it was that much with all those problems. God. Oh, I mean, 3A. Yeah, it's expensive. I think they've gotten a lot better now, though. You know, at 3.0.
The 3.0 stuff is a lot better from what I understand, so that's good. But
the 3.0 stuff has been great. I actually got legit pissed off at a figure when I got pissed off. I think it was the Mark 43 quarter scale Iron Man. It broke so many times. Like, as I was reviewing it, it broke so many times, and I was like, I don't like making videos that on figures that piss me off, like on that level, or if I think it's so bad that all it would be. Here's my point. If I can't find something good to say, if there's nothing that I like about a particular figure, then I don't want to review it. Because again, I want to have fun. Like, that's like my objective. I want to have a fun time. And if there's absolutely zero fun factor at all on my end, then I just don't want to do it. And I told NECA, I was like, I don't want a replacement like this. I just sent them pictures of the figure breaking all the time. I think they ended up sending me one anyway. Then I gave it away or something. But like, I was just so pissed off because it was one of those things where it's like, okay, it broke. I'm going to fix it, but I'm going to talk about it in the video. And I fixed it, and I go review, and then something else broke. And I was like, okay, I'm going to fix it and talk about that also. And then when it was the third thing, I was like, fuck. I was just
it's so frustrating. It's worse. It's the worst thing when it's in a review and you're reviewing it and it breaks. It's so irritating.
Oh, the amount of time I wasted and everything, like the amount of time it takes to do these things. I mean, everybody has their own way of doing reviews. So it's like you know, like you're talking about, you shoot 8 videos in one day. Like, I can, it takes me like 2 days to get through one sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, my stuff could take, especially a stop motion. I don't know if you guys understand how much of a wrench that throws into
It's awful. That's why I don't do it.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
Yeah, I think I like punishing myself. I guess that's probably what it is, because like I could be totally done with, do a whole video, review the whole thing. Now what's big time gonna do? Fuck, I don't know. I gotta like sit there and come up with something and then shoot it. But
yeah,
I like pushing myself to do those, because I was making those before I had a YouTube channel, so I feel like it adds like I don't know, it takes me back to my childhood making them.
Sure.
I love making those things as much as they could be a pain in my ass sometimes.
Well, you gotta have fun too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And sometimes I have like a lot of fun making those. Like they could be super, like I did one where I think Thanos blipped himself outside and then hit me in the back of the head. Like that was kind of like a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
Sulagno Mukheri. I'm butchering that, I'm sure, but thank you so much for the super chat. Hello from India. Do you think Mafex will reissue Justice League figures such as Batman, Superman, Flash?
When their factory's available, probably, if it's anytime soon.
Do you think Mafex will reissue Justice League figures? I don't know about reissue, but they may like do repaints or something, like sell, Snyder cut versions, right?
Darker versions, less color, something like that, maybe.
Color. Yeah. We'll add a bluish hue to everything, maybe.
Yeah. Hey, those Batman figures are really good though, so if they reissue them, that's awesome.
Oh, the Dark Knight Returns stuff?
Oh, no, those two, but the Justice League ones are really good.
Bat Black. Yeah.
Yeah,
this thing is dope as hell. Yeah, I love the Mafex Bat Black figure I have right over here.
Yeah, very nice figures.
Don't let it fall and break on me.
It will break.
Yeah, that's a sad thing about Mafex figures. And then so like what would you say are some of your favorite? I mean, you mentioned Storm Collectibles, but like what are some of the figures that like you get especially excited for, looking like on the opposite end of the spectrum? Like which ones like have made you like the most giddy?
In recent history, the Storm Collectibles Sagat was executed almost flawlessly. That figure is pure fun, and they did just a great job with it. So to me, that one was a good example.
Wait, can I just interrupt you for a second there? I agree with you so hard on that. I bought that figure, and I don't collect spider figures. Like I have the hella fine Chun-Li one, and then like in that, and those are like my two Storm.
It's fun though, right? Like it's a good one.
It is. It's such a good figure. It's
so good.
Yeah, it is. That's really just why I have it. Like I can't collect Street Fighter Storm Collectibles, but that figure is just so fun to pose around, and it's and I like the size of it and everything. It's just a really fun figure. Sorry to interrupt you, but I was just
no, that's cool
to hear you mention that, because I was like, I can't. Yeah.
It's good. It's a good one. But so anytime Storm comes out with a really strong release, I love that. They do have their faults, definitely, but their figures are still really fun. They feel handmade still because of the way they do their sculpting, so that's fun for me. I like to look at the sculpts more in detail, probably than most people do. So I enjoy that kind of thing. But I'm still into Marvel Legends. Like, it's funny because I always get comments like, "Oh, you just hate Marvel Legends," but then I also get comments, "Well, you're a Marvel Legends fanboy." So I guess I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't know, but like a good Wolverine figure, for instance, like the 3-pack Wolverine, even though he's kind of funny skin color, I still love a good Marvel Legends figure. You can't beat a good figure for $20 or whatever they cost now, which is getting a little up there. But I'll take a good Legends figure any day. And then I still like the figure arts Dragon Ball figures, of course. Like those are always. Right. Even the bad ones are good, and the good ones are really good. So those are the ones that, unless we're talking big money, then I love the Flame toys, the non-transforming Transformers. I love those.
I need to get. If you were to recommend one of those, because I've been eyeing them for a long time, like which one would you say is like?
That's tough because Optimus is great, but he's got like half the releases have weird loose knees, and for that kind of money, you don't want loose knees. Ooh. So I would go with Drift. I don't know if you could find it anymore, but Drift is really nice. It's got swords everywhere and lights up all over the place. It's awesome. So that was cool.
Okay, I'll either go Optimus or Drift. Right on.
Or wait, because they have Well, they have a bunch of stuff coming out, but yeah, Optimus is great. But if you get loose knees, you're kind of screwed. So.
Okay, them at Flame Toys and 3-0 are like the only two non-transforming Transformer companies or license or brands or whatever out there that I'm like, okay, that's dope because they have.
Yeah.
I feel like there's when you have a unique thing coming along, but like the Amazing Yamaguchi I passed on, the RED or Red thing from Hasbro, which that. Well, talking about all right, well, god damn it, I feel like such a hypocrite right now. Well, I didn't buy any, but I did a review bashing them. So I didn't even buy any of the figures, and I have and I have these vinyl toys that I saved for my daughters. And I used them as the thumbnail. And basically making the point, if you thought that thumbnail was those figures, that's how bad these RED figures are, that they look like little bath toys, that they look like bath toys for my kids.
Yeah, I was going to buy them, and then I saw them in the store, and they like, I get that they're cheap, and they're not supposed to be fancy, but unless you're a hardcore Transformers fan, I don't see the appeal to something like that. Like you said, with the Flame Toys, that's something special, something unique. It's almost like a statue. You don't need it to transform, but those other toys just did nothing for me at all. So I see where you're coming from for sure.
Yeah, those. Oh god damn. Jake Strong, thank you. What is your guys' favorite figures at the moment? Anthony, will you ever do more gaming streams like Halo again? Kind of good questions.
Yes, I probably will when Halo comes out again. When the next Halo comes out, I'll stream that on launch night for you guys like I did before. You go ahead with your favorite figure first. Let's see what you
my favorite figure at the moment. God, that okay. At the moment. Can I pick the Mafex Batman figures? Because I know I already mentioned it.
Those are good, yeah.
But they're here right now. I gotta say though, the Kingdom Beast Wars figures, I am just head over heels excited about those. Like the Dinobot. I don't know if you have your hands on the Dinobot yet, but like, oh dude, the Dinobot.
I saw it. It looks awesome.
I love the Dinobot. So I'll tell you what. Yeah. Number one, I'm going to say right now the Beast, or not Beast Kingdom, but the Beast Wars Kingdom figures from Hasbro is I feel like I'm getting the most for my money on those figures. Like it delivers more than it supersedes my expectations.
They're incredible for their price. I was amazed, actually amazed, not just saying it like everybody does nowadays, at what you get for the money. They blow every other Transformer out of the water at that price point. They're so good if you like Beast Wars. If you don't, then they're good, but you're not going to care. My favorite right now might be Masterpiece Dinobot. That figure was just about perfect, and I love Dinobot. So that's my personal go-to for anything contemporary. Otherwise, I'd go with like a Soda Street Fighter figure, the old school stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I love my Soda Vega. I still have my Soda Vega figure. That thing is awesome. I paid a pretty penny for it, but don't care. It's awesome.
Those things hold up to today's standards too. Like they have some weird joints, but they look damn good for being 15 years old.
Yes, totally agree. And I liked their ankle pivot. Like it's weird, and I can see why people don't like it, but I don't know. It worked.
It did.
A trip because they cut halfway through the boot at a weird angle, and you would think it's bad, but when you actually get the figure posed, it doesn't look as bad as you would expect it to. So,
it works.
So I thought those worked out really well. I think I missed a. Did I miss? Oh, okay, no, I did not miss one. I don't know. Oh wait, yeah, I did right here. Seol, thank you. He says, how do you guys feel about store exclusives? Oh man, especially with Black Series right now, they are impossible to get and sell out in seconds in some cases. Yeah, how do you feel about that? The store exclusives.
You want me to go first on this one?
Yeah, go. If you're ready, I kind of have my idea about it.
I'll cover it quick. I'll let you talk about it at length more. I don't have a problem with it. They need to do that. That's how these companies make money a lot of the time, especially since it's usually repaints. But for things that aren't repaints, it bothers me when there are exclusives and you can't get them reasonably. If you can get them reasonably, it's like you have to track it down, but you can get it fine. That's part of the thing. But if it's these things that disappear like that and nobody can get them except for 2 people and then the store employees, as far as I'm concerned, that's unacceptable. So I'll leave it at that.
I would like there to be a system in place where things kind of trickle out, as opposed to it just being like one day you have one shot. If you're not awake on that day at that time, then you've missed it.
Yeah.
I wish for exclusives, that all of them had like a staggered release thing where it'd be like, okay, in 2 weeks you're gonna have another shot, and in 2 weeks you'll have another shot. But I don't know if that's even possible to happen. That part of the industry I don't know anything about. You know what I mean? I don't know how. I've seen them at toy fairs where they talk to the Target people or Walmart people, but like I don't know if they would even be able to roll something out like that where it was like, okay, you get a second chance, we're gonna make more, or we're gonna put aside, only have so many available for a pre-order that day, and then do another one later on. But like what you're saying with the exclusives, these companies, they work out deals with these stores, so they need to do that because these stores buy in to the toy line. That's how you have $25 Marvel Legends and $55 Super 7 figures, because Super 7 doesn't distribute their Ultimates through big box retailers like that, so they don't have anybody with a giant bag of money saying, here, make them. They have to just do it all based off of how much they'll get on their pre-orders,
Yeah.
So I had an interview with Super 7 earlier today. It was very enlightening. So I just drove over there to bitch about Silverhawks. This is from Hannah Sapphire. Thank you. I really enjoy your technical reviews, Anthony. I am wondering what you both prefer to eat as snacks while watching a show.
You could take that one first.
Oh man, snacks. I'm not really into snacking. I don't snacks like that's a tough. I mean, if you're a snack,
I'll go first. I'll take some.
Hard. I need to think about it while Anthony answers, because I'm like, what do I?
I'll take some extra fancy whole cashews from Costco. How's that?
Cashew nuts are good. I eat whatever, man. I'm a machine when it comes to food. Like whatever's there, whatever's on the floor that's been sitting there rotten from, I'll eat that. Whatever. If it's not even food, I'll chew on it. I'm trying to think. Like, I think we had some Cheez-Its for the kids the other day. I put some Cheez-Its in my hand and I ate them. I don't really, I'm not like really big into snacking. I used to have cereal at night, but I stopped that habit because it's not a healthy habit to be into. But I try to avoid snacks as much as possible. Hey, I'm into crackers and brie. That's like something
there you go.
Once in a while, my wife and I will have, if we watch a show, she'll put together a little plate with brie and crackers and some grapes and some fruit and stuff.
That sounds good.
Yeah, that's like legit, like some good snacking that I'm into. But yeah, I love the brie and the fancy cheeses. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But if someone had a bag of chips, Tapatio Doritos, that's my kryptonite. Sorry. All right.
I think you might like snacks.
Yeah, Rose, you're sounding a little sus over here with your snack game. You seem to like snacks, man. Yeah, no, I stay away from them. I don't have any of those in my house. So or else it's like half the bag in the face, like the show hasn't even started yet. So good stuff. I don't think someone just does Anthony still believe Mezcos are dolls? Ooh, Anthony, are you starting to call action figures dolls, bro?
I don't think I've ever said that. If I did, I said it sarcastically, but I don't collect. I don't like figures with cloth on the clothing. I just don't like it because it doesn't pose as well. The scales are off. It just doesn't look right for me. So I've never, I've reviewed a few and said they were good, I've never called them dolls. I don't think, unless I was just teasing somebody specifically. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Because I get triggered when people call action figures dolls, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, we're not talking about Hot Toys here, though.
Drink some water. Calm down. But yeah, you don't collect Mezcos at all.
No. I just don't care. I know some of them are fine. Some of them look weird. Some look great. Not my thing. That's all.
You're just not into them.
Yeah.
You don't like the stylized looks of any of them or anything like that? Like none of them?
Like especially the Frank Miller Batman I thought was really good. And then some of the later Batmans too. I just, I can't collect everything. So those don't make the cut. That's all.
I got you. Yeah. It's one of those ones. It's kind of like with me and Play Arts Kai, where it's like whenever I see him, or especially the hippie Batmans, but like whenever I see them, I think they look really cool, even with their unique designs and stuff, like the armor. I actually did pick up their Spider-Man and their Venom because I liked that, but I think I have a total of 4 Play Arts Kai figures in my collection total.
Right.
Like I just can't dive in and go all the way with that. I'm very, very picky about my Mezcos because as I look at them, I have a Doctor Strange right here. Ooh, just dropped his accessory, and it looks pretty good. I mean, I honestly, there's good articulation here. Their ankle pivots just consistently suck, though. Like their ankle. I mean, it's not as bad on Doctor Strange. It's actually not that bad of an ankle pivot.
Yeah.
Right? So I have to take back what I just came out of my mouth because that's actually really far.
Yeah.
It's actually really far. I use my cheek as a backdrop, so that's not bad. But for the most part, the ankle pivot on the Mezcos are pretty bad, and yeah, that tends to frustrate me. Let me ask you, like, what are some of your favorite and least favorite things about being a YouTuber?
Ooh. Okay. Favorite thing is I make my own hours and do what I want when I want. I don't have to answer to anybody. Yeah. So that's nice, obviously. But
that's
then
big too.
Yeah, but then on the same token, that's not a saying. On the same whatever flip side of that coin, I'm constantly thinking I should be working when I'm not. Like all the time. If I have free time, I should probably be working. That's how it's like. You don't have to, but you're always thinking you should. At least that's the way I am. So it's irritating in that sense. I know that's not like a real complaint or anything, but
no, but it's like when you're your own boss, you control your own schedule. You're the one responsible for your productivity. You're the one making the choices of what you're going to work on that day. That's the only downside. Like if somebody wanted to be like a full-time YouTube figure reviewer, at least like say goodbye to your weekends. That's like you don't get weekends anymore. Like you don't get real days off. I pretend to take 2 days off. And my wife and I constantly are at odds about me not working. Whenever I get a chance to work, I go for it. I start pictures, shooting thing, and I'm constantly making excuses to work. I just bought a new action figure. She's like, oh, okay, cool. And I'm like, I gotta go do a packaging segment. She's like, you mean you're gonna go work? This is supposed to be a day you're not supposed to be working. And I'm like, I got a new figure though, and I got to do a packaging segment to do it. And it's like it's always happening. It's always going down. And that's what I think happens with a lot of people that have passion jobs, because you're passionate about this. I'm passionate about this. How do you our hobbies part of our career, and it's like it's all mixed together, so you never really truly stop. You don't have a 9 to 5. You don't clock out.
Right. And there's no paid time off. You're no always on the clock, technically.
Yeah. So. Yeah. There's if anything, and then if you get sick or something serious happens, don't try asking for help, because you're gonna get it. Yeah, I took that one for the team. I took that one for the team, man. That's what everybody else could see that, like, oh, okay, yep, ooh, not doing that. But hey, you know, we all learn, right? We all learn as we move forward. You guys getting the Sentinel Miles thoughts, and thank you, Soul is the pronunciation, right? Soul.
Yeah. I'm not too. I mean, I've seen the photos of these guys, the new Sentinel figures. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get into them or not. It's another one of those things where it's like, how many things am I gonna collect? So I don't know if I'm gonna or not.
Yeah, and I see the pictures and I think they look incredible. I think they look amazing, but I feel like they're only like a 20% boost from how much I like my Mafex versions of those, and especially for that price point, it's just not enough for me to like keep going back to it. It's like at this point, man, it's like okay, I've moved on from that chapter. I'm satisfied already with my Spider-Man Into the Spider-Man figures at this point. I have my more basic versions from Marvel Legends. I have my complex bonus accessory stuff and soft goods stuff from Mafex. I'm kind of set, and I don't need to keep going through over and over again. Great movie though, but
are you noticing that a lot more these days? I know I am, that there's so many different companies coming out with the same figure. I mean, obviously it's their own version, but it's like 10 different Spider-Mans all at the same scale, 10 different this, 10 different that. I wonder how people that are just getting into the hobby are even doing it. Like, it seems very much a burden if you're interested in certain characters. Like, which one do you get? How many of them do you get? Like, I don't know. I wouldn't want to do it for fun. Like, I mean, it's fun, but it's work, so I can justify everything I want to get. But
if you're actually getting them all, well, I mean, that's why you would need to rely on reviewers.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Watch a bunch of different videos and gather your own opinion based off of what you watch, and then come to the decision of what you think will work best for you. You know, if I didn't already like the Sentinel Miles, like one thing that I gotta say, the thing that stopped me for sure from picking that up is the short neck. Like that really bothers me. Like, you're supposed to be the anatomy guy, and it's like, but like when I see something anatomically odd like that much, it kind of takes away from everything else for me. Like my for my project, I'm working on the buck body of this thing, and it's like over and over and over again for me. With like, I'm not a sculptor. I don't have that skill, but so I have a sculptor I'm working with, and it's like I don't know. It's like I just want like the fundamentals of it all to be as perfect as possible, while also chopping things up. Was that hard for you to, like, when you're making the rivals, the rival clan figures? It's like, are they like, did you sculpt just like the whole thing and then start breaking it up, or did you sculpt for the articulation as you're going?
No. So I just basically the fundamentals of sculpting anything. Like, I did the same thing when I sculpted my statue of Akuma. You just get the basic shapes down, readjust a million times for the proportions you want. Then you put in the articulation, and then you readjust to make things look good and functional, and whatever styling you want to do. Like, these guys aren't like this guy's anatomy, for instance. He's obviously, let's see. He's obviously very, very well defined and like super idyllic in terms of his anatomy. So like, it's not perfectly realistic. So I got it to where I wanted realistically, and then I just started shifting things and putting the articulation in and getting it to where I wanted it that way. I don't think, I mean, I guess somebody could do this out there, but I can't imagine many people are sculpting in parts. That would be very difficult to make it look good, I think. Maybe. I mean, maybe people do it, but for me, definitely it was get it sculpted. Like, it looked like a human, and then cut it up and reshape things. That's what worked for me.
That's what I would assume, but you know, it's like, I don't know, because you have like your own printing stuff there. I thought maybe that you might have a different angle on it, but yeah, it makes the most sense to sculpt the whole thing first, and then cut it up. So was that process hard for you to cut up your own sculpt? Like, because No, you're
Nah,
like,
nah.
has to go, and that
In
has
fact,
to go,
it's so satisfying when you, or for me anyway, it was because like it's easy to sculpt a body. For people who sculpt, you're going to be able to do that probably. But being able to cut it apart and add the engineering into it and then make it function, even digitally, that was like awesome. That worked. That was a lot of time spent. I'm happy. And then when I print the parts out and I put it all together and it's functional, it's so satisfying. So I'm happy to cut up this stuff. I love it. Like, to me, static stuff is just boring. So I want to put the articulation there. I want to chop it up. That's what I love about it.
Looking forward to doing it.
Yeah.
That was like when I got my first Buck body image, I was so stoked about it, and then like cutting, and then seeing things get cut up, it kind of changed the proportions a little bit for me. So it's like the initial first look with articulation compared to just like the raw statue sculpt. Like it didn't look as good. It was like I was like, oh, I could see how people don't like to cut. Like when Todd McFarlane doesn't like articulation, I understood that perspective at that point where I was like, okay, I could see how there's less here. But then at the same time, there's certain things that translate to me as just looking good, like ankles. Like ankles have to have a certain range of movement, and while you still see a disc, that's okay. It may look odd, disc, but you want that there so the feet could move up, so you can make the stand right. And for parts like that, I was happy to see the ugliness of sculpting the skull. So that
I spent so much time after I cut it up and added the articulation, still resizing and trimming. And anybody that watched the stream at the later part, I could spend 12 hours adjusting the inside cut of the foot and the way it works with the ankle to make everything work just right and to maintain the proportions and the curves and the silhouette. That's the thing. People, when it comes to anatomy and things like that, people may not have studied it or know the things, but your brain still knows. Like, you can still recognize the human form and facial features and even just the way joints bend. And so it's really important to pay attention to the silhouettes when you're sculpting, so that when you bend an elbow, even if it's double jointed, it needs to still look kind of like an elbow. If it's this big flat piece, it's not going to look right. So it's just like, for me, I loved the detailed tinkering of the engineering. So I enjoyed that part. I spent more time on that than sculpting, probably.
Right. Yeah. The sculpting is kind of like, if you have your skills together, you're an artist, you got your skills done. Like, doing the sculpt should be the easy part, right?
Should be. Yes.
Making it look good after it's cut up and everything. That's
much
the real
harder
trick. That's the real trick. Piercing Pencils Art, thank you so much. Do you guys follow at Swap the Fig on Instagram? I don't think so. And what's the funniest or most annoying action figure swap you encountered in stores? I
haven't. I haven't seen anything that was noteworthy. No, not in stores. No.
Oh, I see swaps all the time. I think the funniest one I think I got was actually a friend of mine texted me a picture of it while he was really concerned. He wanted to buy the figure, but he wasn't sure about the Build-A-Figure part. And he just sounded really distressed over there being a mix-up about what Build-A-Figure was supposed to be and whatnot and all this stuff. I was like, oh, no, bro, no. They swapped it on you. And this is back in like 2012, I want to say.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't as common as it is now. I was like, no, dude, that you got rip off. Don't buy it. That's not that. Someone took it out and swapped. Like, what? Someone would do that? I'm like, yeah, dude. Like, it sucks. I
always thought those photos were fake. That people were just taking pictures of stuff at the store. Not that it was actually. I've never seen it happen. No.
Are you in what part of the country? I think you're in Arizona. Is that right?
I'm in Fort Worth, Texas.
Oh, okay. Were you in Arizona at some point, or did I just make that up?
You made that up.
Okay, I don't know why, but yeah, I love the Fort Worth, Dallas area. That's a cool spot. I've played out there a few times. Oh man, cool. You guys have some great women over there, for real. But yeah, the what was I getting? The swaps out here are really bad. In the Bay Area, there is a ridiculous amount of collectors out here. Very, very collector heavy area. Yeah, like. if you want to wake up early and go to the Target and stuff, I guarantee there will be at least 4 other dudes
Really
waiting for those doors to open. And it's been like that since I was a kid. When I was collecting Power of the Force figures, that's when I was first doing, or when I was a teenager. I would I would wait outside sometimes for
interesting.
Force. Yeah. That's what in high school I got really into it, and I had time away because I had an injury and stuff. So it freed me up to be able to go do something like that. And my parents were like, he's doing something, so
Sure.
Yeah, but yeah, so do you do a lot of in-store hunting nowadays, like, or I guess like pre-COVID, like is that
anything I can get online I do anymore, just because it's so hit or miss in store, at least in my area. Even before I moved to Texas, I used to live in Ohio, and even like everywhere I've lived, it hasn't been worth going to stores. You can't find any of the good stuff ever. So I just kind of gave up on it. And I don't think I found anything in store worthwhile in 6 years, maybe. I just get it online or on eBay if I can't find it. Like,
oh wow, so it's just pretty barren then.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, I get like a Walgreens exclusive Marvel Legends. Those are fairly easy to get usually, but otherwise, like Target stuff, never. I can't find a Walmart that carries NECA product really anywhere. It's just like there's nothing here, so I don't bother.
You see any of the NECA stuff at Target at all? Like
no,
Turtles stuff at all?
I've never seen a turtle product at Target ever, and I've looked and I stopped looking because of it. Never.
Wow.
So,
oh
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty wild. Damn. Thank you, Jazzy's fun talk. Did you guys know that in Asia people can get Hasbro and McFarlane figures way faster than us, like at least a month earlier? Not always, man.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, but not always. I don't know how, and sometimes it's in different places. Like anything that's like an EB Games or Walgreens exclusive, like Troy Collects Toys. He just got his hands on Quasar, Like, Quasar's out there now in Canada first. I haven't seen any reviews from like Chefitron or anybody that's in the Philippines or anything. So yeah, it's not always like that. That's not an accurate blanket statement. This is not true that Asian people can get Hasbro in front of way faster.
Yeah. I don't think it's any policy or anything like that. I think it's random shipping and stores putting stuff out maybe when they're not supposed to. Or I mean, it makes sense that they are shipping from Asia to here, so that accounts for the month usually. So if they're getting distributed there and they can sell them before they're supposed to, I think that accounts for most of it. But
right.
I don't think there's any sort of policy in place that makes that the case.
Right. It happens sometimes. It happens sometimes, just not every time. Sometimes over here in California, we get stuff super early. It's like, whoa, how is this happening? Sin sends $5 saying, I was on an acid trip in my room when my female figures and statues kept hitting on me. Felt good. Thanks for sharing that, man. And P.O. Box 384, Pacifica, California, 94044 if you want to share. No, I'm just kidding. Do not do that. I've never touched that stuff. Could you imagine? Dude, I mean, that's like so scary, dude. Like what? But I don't advocate the use of any of that stuff. I stick to stuff that you could buy in a store. I don't stick to stuff that's not going to damage your health or anything. Not that I'm judging anybody, but I'm not an advocate for any of that. But I do like to joke, right? But I've never touched that stuff.
Jokes are good.
Yeah. Wait, no, there was that one time. No, I'm just kidding. Never mind. But anyway, at ShartimusPrime, why is it that when a store runs of a figure, they almost never restock? It's quite stupid. I don't know if that's necessarily true. Like sometimes it depends on how well a figure sells. You got to understand, like if people don't want to buy something, and if something's not really that popular, they're not going to keep making it. You know what I mean? Like once the Marvel Legends Katie figures are gone from shelves, do you think they're going to put more? No. That's what we see out there is the last of it. They've already got plans for the next thing that's coming up. So Yeah, that's
it's usually the manufacturer that's controlling that anyway, not so much the store, because the store is going to keep selling it as long as it's selling and the manufacturer's making it. But the factories have to stop production and make new stuff. So you're just running out of product. Actually, there's just no more.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, or they're planning on refilling it with something else. Right. There's something else on the way, but yeah, they only. They only. Oh God, never mind. I just read something I'm not going to read anyway. So what kind of things? I want to ask you what kind of things in the action figure industry. Because we've both been doing this for more or less around the same amount of time. Mm-hmm. Like, what changes have you seen in the action figure industry since you first got on this platform? Like, what do you think are some of the biggest changes that you could say is, more or less as a blanket statement of action figure collectibles?
It's a good question. The blanket statement, I would say, it's less of a niche hobby now. Back when we first started, like the Dragon Ball figures, for instance, the figure arts, it was not a big thing. They weren't largely popular. It wasn't a large scale thing at all. And now they're releasing 6 figures a year. I would say across the board, there's a huge ramp up in production for every company. I think they're just pumping stuff out. It's a great time to be a collector. If you're just getting into it, you missed a good part of it, but it's still really good. When we were starting, it was a lot slower, a lot smaller. Like I said, the community was probably, if you counted everybody's subscribers, maybe 100,000, maybe when we started. Like when I started, when you guys were already going, it was not a big community at all. It just wasn't as big a hobby. So I think that's the thing that's the most noticeable thing is the companies are just pumping out as much as they possibly can, mostly for the better. But I think that's what it is. Yeah, there's lots to buy. Yeah,
there's definitely way more options out there. Seeing so many multiple like we were talking about the Sentinel Miles, right? Like back in the day, we would never have seen like maybe Revel Tech. Yamaguchi would have like one version of something, and then there would be a Marvel Legends version, but that would be it, right? Like one import version and one major retail version, maybe. Even the import stuff wasn't even coming along. This is all before Mafex even existed that we're talking about.
Yeah, there was like 2 import companies, 3 if you count Bandai D Arts and Figure Arts as separate, and that was it as far as the smaller scale stuff. And now there's like 20, and they all have the same licenses. There's so much out there now. There's tons.
Yeah, it's nuts. For me, I think the articulation has been like the biggest. Seeing Marvel Legends articulation standardized throughout most of these brands. Like you got like the new Halo figures, right? The Fortnite figures, literally sculpted by a Marvel Legends sculptor, Dave Cortez. Yeah. And even though they've cut back articulation on Star Wars Black Series, it's like pretty much what I've been asking for, what I've been wanting to see is Marvel Legends articulation just on everything. And we more or less have that now. And that just makes me happy as hell because it's just better product. I think like the Marvel Legends line is so successful, I think, because they have that good combination of sculpt and articulation, and tapping into that I think is key for making good figures.
Yeah, well, I think it's funny you mentioned that because I think the industry we have today, overall, imports and domestics, is due in large part to Marvel Legends because they were the first one to do that level of articulation and paint and sculpt to really make it more of an adult collectible. And even with Soda, like that line was a very specific thing, but it was like a standard. But even then, Jerry, the guy that created it, said, I want Street Fighter Marvel Legends. That's what I'm trying to make. Like everything, I think, in some way goes back to the Marvel Legends. That advent of the highly articulated figure. Say what you will about them now, whether you don't like them or you do like them or you're indifferent. Marvel Legends played a big role in the industry the way and where it is now, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. I couldn't agree more. I think they set the stage for, hey, this is how far this can go. And then other companies being like, oh, because like when you look at like the DC Multiverse, or was it the DC Universe Classics? That was like the second one in line after Marvel as far as paint, sculpt, articulation, right? Like, and that was like, oh god, there's no ankle pivot, like a lot of reused stuff. That line's dead, and good riddance to it. Even though there's some cool things about it, but for the most part. I think McFarlane Toys is doing way better with the DC product than what Mattel was doing.
Yeah. No, I don't. I didn't mean it like that. I mean Mattel has never been a standard setter. Let's just put I have every single DCUC figure. I have every DCUC figure, but they're not good.
I see what you're saying. So it's like making a sandwich and saying, "Hey, it doesn't taste like a foot."
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Even though that could be a good thing, though.
Hey, whatever you like.
Whatever you like. Master Chief, thank you so much. Master Chef Reviews says, "Hey, Shartimus, congratulations on hitting the 600 subs lately. Thank you so much. You inspired me to start making reviews and photography of my own. So thank you, Shartimus." Hey, man, I'm happy to inspire. That's great. Another reason, I love the fun factor. So if that translates and people want to get inspired and jump in, that makes me feel like I'm doing what I want to do and get people into it and stuff. But happy to see that. Like I said, it's great seeing people, more and more people talk about this stuff and get into it, especially like seeing really talented people and seeing people go about it a different way. You know what I mean? Like people have their own approach and some people are doing unique things. Would you mind talking about some people that you like to watch? Do you watch? I don't watch a ton of reviews myself personally because I don't like being tainted before I watch a review and stuff, but I still watch like I mentioned some of your videos and stuff. Like I still watch toy reviews. Like, could you talk about some some things that you've seen out there that have stood out to you, some stuff that you like to tap into, whether could be even outside Marvel Legends or
I'm much the same way in that I don't want to see what other people are saying before I do it, because you can't not let that factor in when you're thinking about something and somebody else has already said that's good or that's bad. You're going to come into it with some level of influence. So I try to avoid anything I haven't already, like if I haven't filmed it, I don't watch anything. Otherwise I just bounce around. If I need to see something, or if I'm not going to collect something and I want to see what it's about, then I'll just, all the big names, basically anybody who's got it out there. But I don't really watch YouTube that much outside of like tech stuff. Like I build computers sometimes, so I watch tech stuff. Otherwise I'm not really on YouTube at all. So,
right on.
I don't watch YouTube very much. Don't tell them.
I know they're 15 minutes away. I'm like 15 minutes away from everything.
Yeah.
I would just go to Super 7, then stop by YouTube headquarters. Water. Oh, for me, in case anyone's wondering, I am definitely the biggest Jobby the Hong fan out there. So that's like, if you haven't watched any of his videos, dude, you should check him out.
I've seen him. Yeah,
it's good stuff. Good stuff. Big fan from the Netherlands here. Just thank you so much, Water Tribe Wesley. Just want to thank you both for your content. Currently collecting the Lightning collection mostly. Marvel Legends and Select Spider-Man is filling up. Also, BTAS DC Batman the Animated Series DC Collectibles.
Yeah, good stuff.
One thing I've been how do you feel about what's the thing in there that I wanted to ask you about? Do you collect any of the Power Rangers stuff? Did you ever get into any of
I was so into it when they started, and Zed came out, and Zed was awesome. Like, you missed a little bit of paint here and there. Zed was great. Goldar was pretty great, but the Power Rangers were so lackluster after the first one or two that I sold them all off. I just said, I'm done. I'm not going to keep buying it. I wanted to, but they were like, half the whites were beige and the colors were just not uniform, and I couldn't convince myself I was enjoying it anymore. So I sold them all. I think I might have a Green Ranger still, but I wanted to get into it, but I couldn't do it.
Tommy's your favorite Ranger?
Yeah, Green Ranger especially. Yes.
Me too. I got to meet that guy once. At a Hasbro thing. My wife was like, "I think Green Ranger's right there." I'm like, "Oh shit!" She's Stephen Freak. Go talk to him, and it was like as if I had jumped into a conversation with the guy. Like, like I had stepped away to grab a drink and just came back. Like the dude was super personable, and he was showing me stuff on his phone. And
yeah, I've heard he's a pretty cool dude. Like he's at every convention of any variety, so he's got to be into it. I think he's really about the fans, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, dude. Like, yeah, for real. Like anything positive you've heard about him being connected with fans. Yeah, he's super. Like, yeah,
that's cool.
All about it. All about taking pictures, chatting up, and whatever. Really, really chill. Is there anything that stands out? What changes would you like to see in Marvel Legends? Like what kind of things like frustrate you the most with the Marvel Legends line that you would want to see them do differently? We got about 10 minutes here, so let's use it to be as harsh as we can. Let's get let's dig in, Anthony. Let's dig in. Yes.
No, it's actually easy for me. For the Marvel Legends, the first thing I want to see more than anything else, because I think it's the most instantly impactful, is paint. The Cyclops Phoenix 2-pack, the paint on Cyclops, I want to see that way more often. Even if it's just one color shading. Paint on plastic makes it look so much better than just plastic.
Yes.
I know it costs more. Whatever. Figure it out. Charge more. It's worth paying more if it's going to be worth owning. And I think it would make a huge difference on a lot of figures. If it's only $5 more, people are going to want that more than the $20 figure with no paint, I think. So for me, paint, and then anatomy. I have to go back to anatomy. They've come a long way, but we still have some of the same problems that Hyperion had, and that's one of the worst sculpts ever, probably. So I just want to see better anatomy. But paint and anatomy. I don't have to even be mean. It's easy. That's it.
Just pay. I'm not even being mean. Just paint and anatomy. And when you're talking about the anatomy, do you mean like more with like the blocked Albert? He's done. What up, guys? House is burning down. Family is already safe. What's the one figure you, bro? Hope you guys are okay.
That's a heck of a transition.
Yeah, I know. Like, what's the one figure you from your guys' collection, Anthony, besides MP Dinobot? Hope to see you guys again next SDCC. Yeah, man. Thank you. Hope to see you there too. Next one.
Yeah. One figure I had to pick for my collection outside of Dinobot.
Now you're making me want to get that fucking Dinobot.
It's good. It's so good. It's hard.
I'm at 44 Optimus Prime. Like, I still love that figure. Like, as much as his legs are a little bit wobbly, that bothers me. But like, yeah, I still really love that figure. Like, I'll still occasionally like play with it like it's like a personal event for me and transform it. I still like transforming.
Well, that's the best thing is they don't have to be like good even by today's standards. There's a lot of nostalgia and just what you like that goes into this stuff. Like, I think a lot of people, just as an aside real quick, people think that because I'm saying stuff's bad in a review that I instantly hate the figure. I like a lot of the figures that I say are bad plenty of the time, but I love lots of bad figures. So I would say probably a Play Arts Kai Master Chief. The Halo 2 Master Chief is one that I wouldn't get rid of. And I'm no Play Arts fan by any stretch of the imagination at this point, but I love that figure because of what it is. So I would pick that one.
Nice.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I get the vibe from your reviews that you're really looking for things that could be done. Like you're using the review as an opportunity to analyze and construct like a list of things that could be better.
Yeah.
Figure like I was watching your Optimus Primal, and it's like you genuinely sound like you really like that figure. Like you, like you sound like you're genuinely really happy about the figure, and you're still, you know, the elbow could have been done a little bit different. The way this is broken up over here, it could have been, like you're still complaining, giving your constructive criticism, right. Really what it is more than anything. So it's almost like you kind of, I feel like you're a little bit quicker to kind of like move into that and want to discuss that.
Yeah.
And and because you'll do that, it'll come off that you dislike it more than you actually do.
Yeah, another thing that I do, it's not an accident, but I do come off negative because I do focus on the negative stuff. Like, I'm happy to talk about good stuff. I'll gush about a figure. Even the most recent Cyclops, I spent like 5 minutes talking about the head proportion, how good it was. And that was just like a stupid little thing for a Marvel Legends figure. So I'm happy to talk about good stuff. But people are far more sensitive to negative things. So if they buy a figure and something bothers them, that's going to suck. So I'd rather they know about it ahead of time. So I focus on the bad stuff. And then if they don't care about it, they can go into buying it much more happily, I guess. They're going to enjoy their purchase more than if they would if they got disappointed by something. So I might lean into the negative, but that's not because I don't like things or because I'm trying to be negative. I'm trying to alleviate any of that on the buyer end rather than, like, I might as well take it. I already bought the figure. It's my job to have those problems. So hopefully I can alleviate that for other people is the way I'm looking at it. And I think that does come across negative, but it is, but in a positive way. That's how I'm going to say it.
Yeah. And I think, and I think that's how it should be taken. Cause that's, that's how I've seen it. And that's just like, that's what you're doing. You know what I mean? And it's good. Like, it's good for these companies to be criticized for this stuff. I honestly think because of the whole action figure reviewing community, I really think as a group, I think we've all had something to do with those kinds of changes. I mean, like, we're the ones spending our money on this stuff, as much as people don't want to believe it with me sometimes, but we spend our money on this stuff. Yeah. And I want it to be better. I want good things to come out of it. And the last thing I would want is for someone to buy something and then to have like a big surprise letdown thing happen to them, because especially as reviewers, because like we're supposed to let them know. And when I meet people in person, like, oh man, I really like your reviews a lot. Thank you for that. Like, did I ever do you wrong? Did I ever say a figure was dope and it wasn't dope? Because I asked for that. Did I ever let you down? Did I ever misdirect you into the wrong thing? Because as excited and happy I could be about something, I'm still going to mention something like I prefer the disc hinge. I feel like this head does not look up enough for me. I complain about that. I mention, or I give my constructive criticism. Like, that's not enough for me. I want more out of that, so that if you are thinking the same thing as I do about neck hinges or head movement, that you're going to run into the same issue. And it won't be a surprise for you. So
a lot of people like to say, well, that doesn't bother me. That doesn't matter. Good. That's good. I'm going to tell you it's there. And if it doesn't bother you, then I've accomplished my job. You've decided it doesn't matter, and you're going to go buy the figure. That's perfect. That's the ideal outcome. That's fine. Yeah. But I have to point it out. It's my job to tell you there's a problem here. If you don't care, you don't care, and we're both good then. So it's like, you don't have to care about everything I care about or like what I like or any of that stuff. But I'm going to give you as much information as I can, objectively or subjectively, as much as I can. And then you can do with it what you want. And it should lead to a better experience for everyone, hopefully.
Well, all of these videos are subjective. You can't not be subjective. That's like one thing that I actually personally get offended by, is if someone says like, oh, Anthony's objective and you're not. And I'm like, fuck you, man. I try to give all the information out here as much as possible. How are you telling me that it's only everybody's subjective? You know what I mean? Like, we just have a different way of talking about the stuff. And I point out as many things that I think are wrong with figures as much as anybody else. It's just I try to throw in an added fun factor to it to make sure that it's doing its thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's a good time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, if everybody reviewed the same way, there'd be no point in everybody having different channels. And YouTube is not a finite space. There can be 1,000 different channels talking about the same thing. So we don't have to all say the same stuff. Exactly.
And the other thing I want to point out is I don't think you're trying, like, if you think a figure is bad, I don't think you're trying to convince people that it's bad. You know what I mean? Like, you're saying, like, if you don't care about like a disc hinge in the neck, like, I don't think you're trying to like make that person dislike the figure if that's something that they care about. Like, you're presenting that there. If you happen to care about it, then you're going to care.
Exactly.
And I'm not trying to convince people that every freaking figure is great by any means. I'm just presenting the things that catch my attention, whether they're good or bad. But I'm not trying to convince people to buy stuff. It's not that's not my prerogative to try to get people to buy as much as possible. I want to present it the way I see it. And you're doing the same thing. You're presenting it how you see it, and you want to inform your viewers. Let me read this from Super Pat. Thank you so much, Pat. Awesome interview, guys. Keep up the good work. Hey, thank you so much, man. Really, really appreciate it. So this is a really fun conversation, Anthony. Thank you so much for making it possible, man. This
Likewise.
is really cool. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. Hopefully it opens some people's eyes on, I guess, both of our channels or on our perspectives. Hopefully you guys stay tuned with Anthony. Check out his YouTube channel if you haven't already. It sounds like most everybody here is already following you and subscribed. But if you haven't already, I'm fairly certain I have the link in the description there already, so you'll be able to check out his channel. Keep an eye out on his Kickstarter. What's your aimed launch date, if you don't mind discussing?
I don't know.
You don't want to misdirect or anything. So
yeah, there's no date for the Kickstarter yet. I'm still just tinkering. I'll keep making posts. There's Instagram and Facebook for Rival Collectibles. You can follow those, and just my channel, I'll be posting on there too. But there's no official dates at all because it's one guy doing everything on top of everything else. So I have no idea when. Hopefully soon.
Okay, cool. So follow him on YouTube, follow his social media, and you'll get a better idea as that date gets closer, right? Then people find out. And yeah, if you haven't seen the video of him talking about his rivals, check out the video. You could see the prototypes or the 3D models that he has right now that are articulated. You got one standing on one foot, which looks really badass. So it's a very good demonstration. So wishing the best of luck to you, man. Thanks again so much for making it onto the live stream. Thanks to everybody who's watching and everybody that supported and everybody that dropped in the super chats and asked us questions and everything. Really appreciate you guys. And I'm going to have another live stream this coming Thursday. I'm going solo, as my Thursday live streams are. And is there anything last minute you want to promote or anything like that, Anthony, before we go? Anything
no need to promote. You covered it with the Rival Clans, Rival Collectibles. That's it. YouTube channel, whatever. Just thanks for having me on. I do think it's important that people realize that there's not some giant rivalry between different YouTube channels just because we're not the same channel. It's all good. Like, there's no issue, Yeah. I think that's the biggest takeaway from this is there's no need for drama. That's not a thing that's happening. That's all.
Yeah. I don't think anybody really wants to have any kind of drama or anything. We all have an important role in the collecting community. So it was a lot of fun. I had a great time. Likewise. Thanks everybody for watching, hanging out. Again, Anthony, really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. And I will catch you guys later.
Take it easy.
Peace.